Welcome back to the channel, guys. On this update, we're going to recap where we are in the markets. Yesterday's recap, I was talking about trading the hot zones, trading the ranges. Go back and take a look at that because we were around this area here on the German DAX 4-hour time frame when I was talking about looking at this range here, this range in here, and that the price could get down to these areas and down to these range areas down here around 23,800. Okay, so overnight we pushed up into that range around 1 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, I was fast asleep because I would have been looking for a short in and around that range area here. We call it a hot zone. That's a zone where you need to make sure you keep an eye on, and that was around that 24,500. We also had a trend line running down the highs. It slammed straight in into that trend line. You know, good old-fashioned technical analysis, support and resistance, trend lines, you know, they just work so well still. And so that little rally back up into that area hit there. We wake up this morning, the DAX was down a couple of 100 points. So in the trading room this morning, we were shorting on the 1 hour, 5 minute time frames. We were looking for shorts. Good session this morning. So we got down to this double bottom here. We didn't quite get down to this part of the range down here around that 23,885, 855, because we've got a big support area right in there. But look, this is going to be key. You see this double bottom that we've just bounced off of. So this candlestick is live right here. Now the candlestick before that closed at this double bottom. This green line came in, indicates a nice support area, nice double bottom. So we're in a really important phase here, guys. I can't tell you how important this area is. We're rallying back up into a new hot zone. Okay, so this is that white line here, white line here. Inside here, we've got a hot zone. And if we get the DAX into this area here and we do not continue higher, now the reference point is 24,500. If the DAX can get above 24,500, we could possibly make new highs. But if we get into this hot zone here, this area of major resistance, we could roll over, break that support area here. Now, one touch of support is fine. The next touch of support could break through. Okay, it's like knocking a wall down. You keep on knocking at it, it's going to fall down eventually. So keep your eye on this area. This rally here is an important area. In fact, as we get into this area here, I'm going to be looking to short on the smaller time frames to then for it to roll over. The risk reward is absolutely fantastic on this. All right, so when we get back up into that sell zone in here, a hot zone, an area where a lot of traders will be looking to see if we can get above it or stay below it if you're a bear looking to short this market. So I'm watching very carefully that area there, guys, to see how it reacts there. Let's take a little look at the daily chart, because the daily chart, you know, it's been pretty messy up here. We are red on the system. We are starting to roll over a little bit. Yeah, it's just sideways to down. Okay, we've got a sideways to down market on the German DAX as we speak. All right, so watching that. Let's take a little look at gold, because remember from the update yesterday, I was willing to short gold because if I got some red sell signals, then I think the risk reward would have been really good. And we did get some red. So let's dive into this market. So I was talking about if we got a red pro trend system on the 4-hour time frame, I would short it. But on the 1 hour time frame, we started to get some red here already. So I started to do a short in gold here. I've got a really tight stop on this. Stops are just above this swing high up here. And if we can hold, the risk reward is really good. As a trader, I'm looking for the best risk reward trades. Is there any value going long gold up here? Well, let's take a little look at the daily time frame on the pro trend system. It's just gone parabolic. If I buy up here, I'm going to be the last one in, aren't I? Probably going to be the last one in. It's so extended, and we're starting to very much go parabolic here on this move. So we need a pullback. Okay, I think we need a pullback and then another buying opportunity to get it higher. Okay, so we'll be watching. I'm watching closely. I've got a nice tight stop. The most important thing here is I'm managing my risk. If I get stopped out, I'm not going to lose all of my account, guys, okay? It's just a small part of the account. So I'll be watching gold. We'll see if it starts to come down. If not, that's fine. We'll retake another little look at it coming in the several sessions. All right, so watching gold here. NASDAQ at that really important area, the DAX at that important area. Talking about the NASDAQ, let's dive into that market because that has been great. Let's dive in. The 1 hour time frame, literally sold off all morning, guys, in the session. And we're coming, we're coming down to a bit of support. In fact, we're actually trying to bounce a little bit here. Let's dive into the 4 hour time frame on that. Once again, just like the German DAX, price sold off really hard on Friday. We rallied back up into a major hot zone here, area of congestion. Lots of buyers and sellers in this area here. Probably a Fibonacci area, as I said yesterday. And we started to sell off. We sold off all morning, really. Now, since the US market is open, we've started to kick back rally here. So it's still bearish within this time frame. Bearish means downtrend. It's not a bullish downtrend in this time frame. It's got to be relative to the time frame. It was in a nice bull market, higher highs and higher lows, middle of September. Okay, but now we've taken out that low, which is a first for a while. And now we've retraced back to it, which is a first for a while. And now we're starting to sell off. But in fact, in this 5 minute candlestick, we're pushing nicely high. Here's the 5 minute chart of the NASDAQ. We pushed nicely higher since I started the video, to be honest with you. So we're pushing up really nicely here on NASDAQ. But look, we're pushing up, and this is really important. We're pushing up into resistance areas. We're red on the tracks, red on the system. We've got 1 hour 37 minutes for this candlestick to close. The close is the most important. This is a live open candlestick. It's still red. It could easily close further down. We've got 1 hour 37 minutes to go. So you've got to be careful of this market at the moment, guys. JP Morgan came out with a statement today saying we're in bubble territory. Okay, that's fine. I'd rather just look at the charts, to be honest with you. And at the moment, the charts are pretty fragile in stocks. We could see a bit of a flush. Now, if you take a look on the channel here, guys, about 3 weeks ago, before we went to the traders retreat, I spoke about buying the VIX, the volatility index, way before we had this spike high. Let's go and have a little look at the VIX. So the recap on the VIX was, I was saying, I was walking in the park and I was talking face to camera about, look, when the VIX is really low, I like to buy it. And I like to buy it in a non-leveraged trading account. So I just like to buy a position in it. And when it's low down here, there's every chance it could explode higher. When nobody is looking at the VIX, the volatility index, when volatility is nice and quiet, I like to buy it. I like to creep in and buy it, okay? And so at some point it breaks higher, and it did. It broke higher nicely on Friday, and it's still pushing higher here on the VIX. Volatility is increasing. And saying that, it was a really lovely profit. Okay, so check out that video that I did a few weeks ago, all right? So going back to the NASDAQ, it's going to be very interesting where we close this Tuesday evening, guys, all right? If we stay below this area here, that 24,800 area, then we got every chance to continue down. If we break above there, like on the DAX, then we can push to new highs and resume the uptrend. But at the moment, bears are in control on the Tuesday, and I'll speak to you tomorrow on a market recap, see where we are and see what happened overnight and for the rest of the trading session. Hope it helps, guys. Don't forget to trade with a stop loss in place. If you are day trading at the moment and you're a new day trader, be careful if you're normally putting a stop loss in at 10 points away. At the moment, it's not cutting it because the average true ranges of the indices have increased. So if you're a hard stop at 10 points away, you're more than likely going to get stopped out because on 5 minute charts, we're moving 15, 20, 30 points on just a 5 minute candlestick. So you've got to be really careful. When volatility increases, make sure your stops are in the right place because when the volatility is really quiet, you can have really tight stops and still be in the trade. It's just when that volatility increases, you're going to get stopped out more times than not if you got too tight of a stop loss. Reduce position size, maybe widen stop, okay? That's no advice, but at the end of the day, it's just a little bit of a direction that I like to do when the volatility increases. Hope it helps, guys. Speak to you soon.